And good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're watching in the Philippines and from all over the world. And welcome back to my podcast, the RJ Ledesma Podcast. In my podcast, I interview the country's pioneering business personalities and entrepreneurs to learn more about how they think about doing their business. What are their success secrets? Can we replicate their success secrets in our own businesses? How have they innovated their businesses during this pandemic? And more importantly, what opportunities do they see emerging in our new normal? Is there a business personality or entrepreneur that you would like me to interview here on the podcast? Please do let me know. Just drop me a message. I would love to learn from them. We are also live right now on Kumu, CBRC TV, Global Pinas TV, and the Bounce Back Network. So again, it's been quite some time since I've had a chance to do the podcast. Glad to be back here. Met several people who watched the podcast, who enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for the great feedback. I promise to keep on getting you great entrepreneurs to listen to here on the show. And tonight's guest is no exception. A very, very good friend of mine is Miss Bubble Slim, who is the general manager of Easy Franchise, a go-to platform for all things related to franchising. Now, they solve the pain point of bridging the gap between you, meaning somebody who wants to get a franchise, and franchisors, making franchise application a very convenient process. Everything is conducted through a hassle-free online portal that eliminates the need to brave traffic and to actually physically go to a franchise expo or convention. And they've got great news coming up, which is their franchise day, or an international franchise day. So I am looking forward to learning more about Bubbles, at the same time learning more about her own background in the startup industry. So let's please welcome my good friend over here, Miss Bubbles Slim. Bubbles, welcome to the show. I am so surprised.
RJ. Sorry, I'm still on mute. No.
Yeah, you're okay, Bubbles. I'm so surprised that it's taken a year and a half for the show to be on air for you to finally come on the podcast. So
Finally.
thanks so much for saying yes to us. Now, before everything else. And I'm going to ask you to explain what Easy Franchise is. But before that, one really great news about Easy Franchise this coming August 28th. Share with them the great news that you have coming up.
Of course. Thanks. Of course. For having us. For having me here, RJ. First of all, and we're very excited to invite everyone for the upcoming Franchise Day on August 28th, which is the biggest and the only franchise sale in the country. So it's actually the second time that we're doing this. we did this that last year, and we are planning to do it bigger and better this year. So there are lots of people are already looking forward to this day. In fact, as early as now, we're getting so much inquiries and overwhelmed with a lot of support also with our partner franchisors, with our participating franchisors. So we're looking forward for this event.
Okay, I just have a question. Why did you choose? I think it's August 28th, right? What is the particular significance of
Yeah.
developing a franchise day?
Well, August 28th is actually the International Franchise Appreciation Day. And when we found out about this back last year, or when we started Q2 of 2021, we were surprised that nobody actually ever coined this day or ever had organized an event on that day. So we did, and we were able to successfully coin it as our Easy Franchise Day. And of course, we want to replicate the success of our last year's event and do it annually.
Okay, and I understand. So this is where franchises can actually join. So this is sort of like your 1111 ng Alibaba, or like your 77, your 88,
Yes, yes,
where
yes,
you get where
yes.
people can usually get franchises, but on that specific day, franchise day, there will be
Mhm.
offers exclusive on the platform for people who want to get franchises. Is that right?
Correct, correct. So, so again, it's the only online franchise sale. So similar to how the experience is with the other platforms when they do the 11/11, the double digit sale, or the mid month sale. So that's what we want to replicate on Franchise Day, wherein it's going to be the biggest online sale for any franchise brands or the popular franchise brands being featured on Easy Franchise. So we're going to partner with the popular brands like Mr. Donut, Righty, Joy Bean, so international and local franchise brands like Lavada, H2O, and all the other local partners as well. So there are a lot of participating partners, and we're very excited to actually cater to show them to you, especially on the. So right now, we've already announced some of the brands that have promos on our platform. But then leading towards the event, the promos are going to be bigger pa. So that's why a lot of people are looking forward to that event, because there's going to be a premium pa of when they avail of that franchise on that day.
Okay, so I get that in the franchise day, one of the advantages of being there is that you get a sort of special rate or discounted rate if you get
Yes.
on a franchise
Yes.
day. But right now in the
Correct.
Philippines,
Correct.
there are a lot of different franchise fairs going on. There are physical fairs,
Right.
there are also online fairs that are also going on. What makes the franchise day that you're doing, I guess, a bit more different or innovative versus what people are doing here right now? I mean, in other words, why would they go to you on franchise day versus attending just an
Right.
online franchise? People can just do online franchise seminars, or they can just go to a
Correct.
physical
Right.
expo.
Well, firstly, the promos that the brands offer on this day are exclusive to Franchise Day. So it's not something that you can get from the brands all year round. So we really have curated and have planned this with our participating franchisors, wherein we wanted to make something or offer something special to our followers and also those who are really looking forward to this event. So first, we have exclusive offers. Secondly, of course, we have the digitized application process, wherein you, unlike for example, the usual process of, like, for example, buying a franchise is either first you go through the tedious process of canvassing or searching the fried franchise for you. Like, you go to meetings, you go face to face meetings, you would and based on our studies before, um it would take about 3 to 4 franchise brands for you to canvas on your own without support or without assistance by a consultant like Easy Franchise. And you would base your decision on those 4 brands. Yun yung average kasi, RJ, average
Okay.
franchise brands that you could canvas on your own. Now, with Easy Franchise, we have curated brands already, promos already for you to choose from based on your passion or your interest or your budget, and all you have to do is choose from them. So having them aggregated together in one day, na andun lahat, everyone is offering promo. So all you have to do is really choose the right franchise or the right package for you that fits you and your need, of course. So yun. I think that's what makes us different. And at the same time, yun nga, it's a culmination of all the the learnings also that you have from the series of webinars that we have. So you mentioned earlier, yes, there are webinars out there. But this one kasi, Franchise Day is the culmination of all the online franchise webinars that we've had in the past, like with our franchise fiesta. And then, that's where you finally decide on what franchise to buy or to
Do they
invest
have to
on.
book? Do they have to book online, and is it free to attend, or is there a payment to attend this online franchise fiesta?
Definitely for free. This is for free, RJ. So from the start, what we've been doing is really just offer, like, we same with our webinars. None of our webinars are paid, and this on this sale, you don't have to like purchase anything, like a ticket or anything. All you have to do is basically just go to our platform, register, and choose the right franchise or right franchise promo for you.
Okay. Just in case, Clark, like right now, can you please flash on the screen the Easy Franchise website so people can easily visit if they want to start registering there for the
Yep.
upcoming franchise day and be part of the activity. So
Yeah.
let's bring the website
So all
page
you
over
have to
there
do
right
is
now.
yeah. So www.easyfranchise.com. Yeah.
Perfect. Now,
And then you
I've got,
will be redirected. Yeah.
oh, you'll be
Go ahead,
redirected
sorry.
properly. Got it. Got it. So where will you be redirected, Bubbles? Sorry.
You will be redirected to our homepage where there are collections there for all our franchise brands, and you'll be redirected to the listings as well. Should you choose based on your budget, on the industry, or yeah, the industry that you prefer.
Okay. We've got a question very, very interesting over here. So there are people who are the franchisees, right? People who want to get franchises. So let's
Right.
just clarify the vocabulary. Franchisees are people who want
Correct.
to
Semantic.
invest in a franchise.
Mm.
Franchisors
In a
are the people who own the
franchise.
franchise. So, like for example, our partner here
Who
in
own the license,
who,
correct?
who own the license to the franchise. Like say, for example, our partner before si Jomag Jose Magsaysay was the former owner of Potato Corn. He was the former franchisor because he was the one selling franchises for people to
Right.
get. Right? Is that correct? A correct understanding, Bubbles?
Right.
Great.
Correct,
Okay.
RJ. That's
So
exactly the ano.
the interpretation. So I got this guy coming up here right now in the comment box, Jason Malabana. He's got a great comment. How to have their own business included in the event, and he has a subsequent post that says, "Please include Kintab," which I guess is his own brand. Now, so the question that Jason brings up, of course,
Of
people want to
course.
be included in the event. Two questions coming in there: Can they join if they are not a franchise yet but want to turn their business into a franchise? And question number two, if they are already a franchise business, can they just readily join you and be part of the franchise day?
Of course. Well, with Easy Franchise Platform, we really are looking for brands who have potential to be, or who are franchisable basically. Who When you say a brand is franchisable, that means you have a replicable system. You are developed to become to expand wherever in the Philippines or even global. So we have certain requirements, of course, to be onboarded to our platform and to be part of Franchise Day, as we vet and of course validate all the brands that we feature on our platform. For Jason, as mentioned, he said Jason wanted to we wanted you wanted us to include Kintab. We'd be happy to include Kintab in our platform. If you could just hit me up, message me on Facebook, and then I'll guide you through the onboarding process of Easy Franchise. I'd be happy to assist you. So basically, if you are a brand naman who wants to become a franchise develop is a service that we basically offer as well, wherein we help the small and the medium businesses to develop their franchise business. There are concepts like logistics, which is out of the ordinary. Now, usually, kasi food and beverage, like retail or service, but there are also like emerging services right now that are franchisable. And what we do with Easy Franchise when we develop franchising is we develop a dynamic structure wherein it's really based on your system. It's not like it's not a one size fits all type of development strategy or a development structure that we do. So we go into really working with you, planning with you into developing your franchise that is replicable, especially at these times wherein there's a lot of changes in, di ba,
Mm-hmm.
RJ, in the way business is being done in the industry, especially with the pandemic, right, di ba? So,
Exactly.
yun, we've developed a dynamic system to help franchise businesses
Okay.
to expand.
So it's sort of like you customize it based on what the franchisor needs to have in the market. Is that correct?
Correct. That's right. Correct,
Okay.
RJ.
So it's not like you give them a template and then just use this template and go, right? So you study the business,
Exactly.
dot dot. In fact, Jason is telling us over here. His last comment. Thanks for listening, Jason. I really appreciate it. He said over here, we've already started franchising. It is a mobile car wash. Thank you. What do you think of the concept? You know
Oh,
why I like
that's
that
right.
Bubbles thing, because Bubbles, all the new concepts of franchises go to her. So she'd be a good judge of what's a
Yes.
good new franchise. What do you think of this one? A mobile car wash.
Definitely. I think I saw several mobile car wash, but it's not a saturated, kumbaga, saturated market yet. But definitely something that is replicable and franchisable. And when it comes to the system, that's something that we can work with. I guess siguro a tip for Sir Jason is, for example, what you need to a key thing here is the supply chain, or basically the supply. What can you offer to your franchisees that is only unique to you? So one thing that I would like recommend right now to establish or develop is, of course, like for you, like a special soap or a special
Mhm.
detergent that you use when it comes when it comes to, diba, the cleaning products that you use for your car wash. So if you could develop that, definitely that's something, and you can offer that uniquely to your franchisees. That's something that we can work with, and we can help you. We can help you into expanding that business.
Or a unique service that only they can implement in terms of the skill level or the quality
Exactly.
of that
Exactly.
skill. Oh,
Right.
and that, yeah,
Right.
and that's what we call, that's what, in all the entrepreneurial talks I give, we call that the secret sauce, right? It's something that only you can do.
Exactly.
That's not easy. It's like if you go to KFC, you like their gravy, the only gravy, because only they can produce that. If you drink Coke, it's because that's the secret
Exactly.
sauce. The formulation is
Exactly.
something that they like, and that can either be a product or a service or a
Exactly.
skill set, which only you can deliver. So Jason, yeah, we're very happy to hear from you. So
Which you
Easy
can own.
Franchise, which you can own, of course, which you can own, and or
Thank
it's
you
not
so much,
easily.
Jason. Yeah.
Wow, he says, yes, correct, thanks. We have 25 units now, farthest in Cebu. Hope you can help. So again, Bubbles, where can they get in touch with Easy Franchise just in case they want to get in touch with us? In CDO pala, not in Cebu. Bubbles just disappeared for a bit, but let me just help out over here. You can go to the Easy, Jason, if you're listening to me here right
Sorry.
now, that's okay.
Yeah.
Where can they contact you, Bubbles? Do they go to the Easy Franchise website or to the Facebook page?
Yeah, they can
Where
go
can,
to the Easy franchise platform. We have a chat box there. There are people. We have business development associates that can assist you, or you can chat us through our Facebook page as well, and somebody will get back to them on what are the next steps.
Great, great. I know we haven't even had a chance to get into discussing what Easy Franchise is about, but because franchising is a business which everybody is pretty familiar with here in the Philippines. But there's a really great question that's come out here right now in our comment box from one of the guys who listens to us a lot, Lance Luis Caviteño, and it's really great. People ask this all the time, and we feel these questions a lot of times, Bubbles. Is what is the advantage of having your own,
Mhm.
having a franchise business, and creating your own business? So again, the question here is that what are the advantages of having your own, but getting a franchise business and creating your own business? Now, Bubbles went out, but let me give you. So this is a little caveat, okay? I am one of the co-founders of Easy Franchise. So the founders of Easy Franchise are basically myself, and then my partner over here was the former president and owner of the very successful Potato Corner, Jose Jomag Magsaysay, who now just recently sold the business to the people in Shakey's, and finally, together with me, Bubbles, we formed we formed the co-founders of Easy, the major co-founders of Easy Franchise. So I said, may caveat lang ako dito to tell people that I'm part of the group. That's why I know a lot about it. But then you're more the expert of it, expert now in franchising than I am. And again, what's the advantage of a franchise?
Si Boss Joe Mag yun, RJ, not me. I'm just a mere vehicle of executing your vision and Joe Mag's
but
vision as well. So,
but you're great at execution, and that's why the team really works very well. So again, getting back to the question, what's the advantage of a franchise business versus creating your own business?
well, there are, of course, like any naman initiative or strategy, there are pros and cons. So when it comes to the advantages of investing in a franchise, like this is already like siguro gas-gas na to, but still true that a franchise business has a better chance at success because there's a tried and tested system already. So pre-pandemic, the chances of a success of a franchise is 90%. Kumbaga, compared to a do-it-yourself business. But of course, like any, ano, diba, there's 10% chance pa rin na it might not. And that really depends on the system that you are investing on. That's the reason why for Easy Franchise, we really vet and validate the brands that we work with to make sure that they have like a franchisable system to be offered to our potential franchisees. Now, the cons naman or the disadvantage, one of the disadvantage, or I wouldn't say disadvantage, more of a limitation, is that
Mm-hmm.
there's like any contract, right? There's not much room for flexibility or creativity because, of course, you are adhering to the rules and the terms of the franchisor. So if you want to implement something that, siyempre, there are a lot of entrepreneurs who are also creative, di ba? Oh, I think I want to do this. I want to recreate the menu. And that's not all applicable for all franchisees. Not all franchisors allow that flexibility. So yun yung limitation, I would say, when it comes to investing in a franchise because there's not much room for creativity or independence when it comes to creating strategies for the franchise. Kasi nga, again, since it's a tried and tested business, the franchisors tend to, want you to focus more on implementing those systems that they have already implemented. Because more often than not, those initiatives has already been gone through and tested. It
Mm-hmm.
might have worked or you might have a good idea, but it may not work for their system. So yun yung so they already would suggest for you to do to work on the safe and the system that they've already created and tested.
And having said that, no, like you said, you're online when you do Easy Franchise. It's an online platform where people can search for their chosen brands. My question is, how do people know? Because when they're online, how do they? What are the red flags? Because because if you follow franchising, if you're interested, a lot of them will pop up individually on your part. Franchise here. How do you kind of vet what is good and what is not good
That
online?
right. So firstly, I would advise like for anyone who would want to invest on a franchise. Because DTI mandates that you ask for the franchise disclosure information or the franchise disclosure documentation from the franchisor. If they don't have that and they can't provide that to you, then that means they are not compliant with the DTI ruling. Because that's basically your due diligence when it comes to vetting
Mm.
the business that you want to invest on. So if the franchisor doesn't know that, or the franchisor or the brand that's offering franchising doesn't know that, so medyo red flag agad yon. Because if you're offering a franchise, you should know that. Secondly, I would say that if they're not transparent with their packages and offers, that's also another red flag because most of them would say na okay, we will inform we will let you into our systems when you've signed a contract already. Of course, again, there's a due diligence that they have to comply and they have to provide you, which is the FDI that I mentioned. That's franchise disclosure information that they have to provide. So yun. As a franchisee, those two things that you have to look out lang and look into when you want to invest in a franchise. So yun, siguro yun yung basic information. And lastly, of course, if the franchise that you're buying from is into doesn't own the franchise, what do you say when that doesn't own the franchise? If you say that you're franchising a business, that means as a brand you have to own the license, right? So a franchise is a license. So they have to own that license. And if you can easily check, IPO Philippines right now is very accessible. You can just go online, ipophl.com or .gov ata, if I'm not mistaken. We'll share some tips on that also on easy on our platform. So you go there, you go to the trademark search, and then check if the trademark is actually existing. Then you will know if they're a franchisable business.
Yes, very, very important to
So,
go to
or
the
they
IPO
own
field.
their
Yeah.
franchise basically. Because what if you invest on a franchise? Correct. So, ikaw, RJ, you're the ambassador of
Exactly. So I'm
IPO, di
promoting
ba? So,
IPOFIL.
yun.
Please
So,
make sure to register your business with the
if
Intellectual
you
Property Office of the Philippines. Yan lang.
advocate, yes,
Public service announcement. Okay.
correct,
Continue, please, Bubbles. Go ahead.
correct. Announcement. Exactly. Exactly. So if you go there and the trademark doesn't exist, then what franchise are do they actually own? So
Mm-hmm.
yun yung mga red flags, at least top three red flags that you have to look into. For some kasi, you'd have to go through due diligence na, like you have to look at the P&Ls, you have to look at their some testimonials from their franchisees. So yun yung mga things. Pero before you get there kasi, at least for this top three on the get-go, first meeting, you can already ask na kasi.
Yeah. And the important thing to remember, guys, is that if you are the franchisor naman putting up a business and you fail to go to the IPOFIL and do the proper documentation, somebody can easily just
Correct.
get the name of your
Steal.
franchise,
That's I
steal it, put it up, and because it
exactly
didn't register it, it's got no government presence.
correct.
Uh,
Sayang naman nung
he
effort,
owns it na.
diba?
For all purposes, he owns it as far as the
Yeah,
government is concerned. He owns
right.
the trademark to that
Correct.
one as far as that's concerned. Wow.
Correct.
I like
So
Jason
please
Malabana saying,
register
wow,
for
thank you. We
businesses,
didn't know that.
register.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jason, now you know. Very good. So Jason, get in touch with
Yes,
us
Sir
right after the
Jason.
show so we can help you with Kintab.
Yeah.
Now,
We
here's
can
another
help
one
you
I want.
out. We can help you.
Very much, very much. And this is what I want to ask, Bubbles. The next one is people always, they come up to us and say, what's the best? I mean, and of course, I know this from all our franchise online seminars, but they always ask you, what's the best franchise to get? Because if it was them, they'll always go for
Ako.
a potato corner, right? I mean, that's the usual one. And then the next one, they'll go, oh, what's the cheapest franchise para makastart na ako? But you tell them sometimes that just because it's the cheapest, it doesn't mean it's the best to get. Or if it's the most expensive, that's the best to get. So help us eliminate some of those myths when it comes to franchising.
Correct.
So the first one is, what sort of franchise should I get? Should be like food because that's the best. And second one is my second question, like I said earlier on, is how do you choose properly the franchise in terms of the price that you have to pay? Okay, let's go for the first question.
Correct. So I guess if we're going to debunk a myth, son, if there's only one myth that we're going to debunk, RJ, about that, is that there is a best franchise. The thing is, about when it comes to franchise, at least based on us, it really varies on your preference. Eh. You so so it really depends on what you want. So for example, if it's something that is price friendly for you, if it's something
Mm-hmm.
that fits within your budget, then for example, I only have a budget of 100 to 300,000 pesos, right, to invest in a franchise, like a capital for a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Then definitely a big brand is not the best franchise for me. So you really have to fit it, you have to match it basically. When we say it's a best franchise to invest on, it matches your preferences. So the thing about easy franchise is we curate, so we even have this match me service wherein we curate based on your budget, your preference. Like for example, okay, I want something in the food industry, or I want something in an industry wherein eventually I want to pursue on my own. Look, so the good thing about the franchising is that it is a replicable system that you can study at the same time. I see franchising as something as a stepping stone kasi siya eh. For someone, for example, who doesn't have a background in entrepreneurship or business management,
Mm-hmm.
it could be a stepping stone for you to own your own business someday, to own your own franchise. you have to learn it somewhere eh. Kasi syempre, if there were best franchises, then there wouldn't be new franchises to begin with. So
Mm-hmm.
we learn from, di ba? We learn from this system for you. So you invest in a franchise we're in that fits your preference, that fits your kung ano yung sa tingin mo you want, you're passionate about, and then you think eventually you'll have something related to this na you can own. So, or it could be something that you can grow with you, that can grow with you as well. You can replicate it, but at the same time, you can learn from, so that you can do something of your own then someday. So, yun, I guess that's it. And then, for when it comes to naman the industry, it really right now definitely an essential franchise. When we say essential franchise, something that is ano naman on a day-to-day needs, like for example water refilling, services, retail, di
Para
ba?
pag
Right, even during the pandemic,
we always
these
talked about it during
businesses are actually the ones that thrived or
that's right.
not flourished.
That's right. The pandemic friendly businesses,
No,
those are the franchises which were very
no,
popular. Yeah. Did you get the I
correct,
think
correct,
yeah.
right, right, correct. But despite that, you'll be surprised then, RJ, kasi there are those that are not essential also, but because we're people are wanting to have a sense of normalcy, right?
Mhm.
They also want to try, they also, people like the consumers also try out those, like example yung milk tea. That's the reason why milk tea pa rin ngayon it's a lot of people think that's a fad, but hindi eh. It's still thriving up to now because that's the sense of normalcy that people are, trying to experience now. Kasi even at home, you can, di ba, you can still avail of these services or these products that you used to do pre-pandemic. So, yun. So, again, sorry, going
That's
back to your question. So, it really depends on your preference. There is no, at least this is for my, based on my opinion, the best franchise would be something that is that works within your budget when it comes to starting a business.
okay. And here's another big question, Bubbles, which always comes up, and I think it's nice that we're able to address it here right now. Is that they're wondering, if I choose a franchise, where should the funding come from for me to put at that franchise? Should it come from my savings? Should it come from directly from my, or extra savings which I set aside, which I can use, or should it come from my day-to-day earnings? Should I borrow money to put up a franchise? In your experience, based on the franchisees that you've worked with that have become successful, what is the best place for them to secure funding?
Well, for us, definitely with our main target market are OFWs. So the best scenario I would say would be for them to be able to continue. Kasi siyempre as OFWs, they have their jobs right now, di ba? But the thing, if anything, during the pandemic is the adoption of people when it comes to investing in business has increased because now they are saying, or now they are starting to realize na, oh, I need a backup plan pala. Because with the pandemic, di ba, nothing is really secured. Even if you have a contract abroad, anything could happen. So
Mhm.
now people are more open to really in having a backup plan. And while they're working, syempre, you set aside yung investment fund, wherein at least at the same time, hindi siya yung tipong it's not going to be your main source of income, but it prepares you when you repatriate um, here in the Philippines. Kasi nga, you need a backup plan eh. Kasi even if you're an OFW, di ba? And then, when you start late na into it, so syempre, madaming nang mauuna sa'yo when it comes to investing in a franchise. The market will be saturated. You'll run out of locations to put that franchise business for you. So, as early as possible is better. Kasi syempre, there are learnings that you have to go through. There might even be pitfalls that you have to learn from and experience before you get to the right business. This is in general business, not just in franchising, based on my experience at least.
Got that. Now, this has been such an interesting discussion. We talked a lot about debunking franchise myths or people's questions about franchising. That now it's finally time to get to what Easy Franchise is really all about. And so funny, we're
Yes.
halfway through the show and we're getting into what Easy Franchise is all about. But then I think I often tell people, here on the podcast that if we were to describe Easy Franchise, let's say to your mom or to my dad, they're a bit older. The concept might
Right.
what is Easy Franchise if we were to explain it to them in simple terms?
So in simple terms, Easy Franchise is a go-to platform for franchising. If you need something related to franchising, we basically have it. It's a one-stop shop. And we provide an end-to-end solution for all the stakeholders in the industry. So if you are a franchisee or you are someone who wants to invest, you can choose the right franchise for you through our platform. If you're a franchisor, we can help you expand your business. So that's what we do in a nutshell. But what we really do right now is we provide customer-centric, innovative, and end-to-end franchise solutions for everyone, whether you're a franchisor or a franchisee. So that's what
Okay,
we do.
so parang you're solving the pain points from both the franchisor end and from the franchisee end. Is that correct?
The franchisee. Correct, correct, correct. Exactly.
Okay. Can I understand what are the franchisor pain points that you're trying to address that and is address better than other people
Okay.
addressing it? And what are the franchisee pain points naman that you're also trying to address that not other groups can address properly as well? Let's start with the franchisor.
Like for the franchisors, like I would say for those who want to become franchisors, the industry can be intimidating at times, no? So there are like any industry, it could get intimidating because it's so hard to be in the big leagues when it comes to franchising. So you need someone to really guide you and help you through the process of get developing your franchise business. And when we say we're customer centric and innovative with the way we help all provide customer centric solutions are basically providing dynamic structures for different franchisors or different businesses who want to become franchisors. Like for example, there are, I mean, the top of mind, simple lang, it would be the payment, flexible payment terms. Next would be dynamic franchise fees. Like for example, that doesn't hindi yung one size fits all when it comes to developing their franchise. Kasi iba-ibang businesses, iba-ibang structure kasi yan. So we really based it on their experience or sorry, their structure. Nasalid ako.
Okay lang.
So on the franchisee side naman, go ahead, RJ.
Okay lang. This break is brought to you by Easy Franchise. Okay.
Franchisee side naman. So on the franchisee side naman, so same thing, the customer right franchisor naman is again, we base it on their, so again earlier, there are offers that are different packages, right? So we've made several investment solution, flexible investment solution for sorry, I can't get rid of this itch on my throat.
Oh, tubig ka muna. Tubig muna si Bubbles dyan while she's getting rid of the... And then, while Bubbles talks about that one, allow me to share my own story about Easy Franchise. So, as I said, no, Easy Franchise was actually co-founded by myself and Joe Mag of Potato Corner and Bubbles. So, I give a lot of talks on entrepreneurship, and I want to share with you the pain point that led me to creating the idea of of Easy Franchise. So, there was one time that I was giving a talk on entrepreneurship in Dubai. And when I was in Dubai giving that talk, I was together with a water franchisor, okay, water refilling franchisor. And when I was giving the talk in Dubai, I was just astounded by the number of people who came there, the OFWs, who wanted to get a franchise. And why is that? Because number one, they have, like Bubba said earlier, they all want to have an exit plan, right? They want to make sure that when they go back to the Philippines, may mauuwian silang negosyo, di ba? Because they know that their contract is not forever. But number two, aside from that one, no, they don't have enough information there abroad about, how to get a franchise because, they can't show up in franchise expos. They can't show up physically in franchise fairs in the Philippines. And all the documentation was, manual. So they had no access to that one. So another pain point for the OFWs. And last but not least, and one of the biggest pain points that many OFWs often experience is that many of them are scammed, di ba? Bubbles. Many of them are scammed over there, wanted to get the hard-earned monies of the
Yeah.
OFWs, saying that there is a franchise here, franchise there. When they put the
Yeah.
money, all of a sudden they disappear or they're out of contact. So number one, that was the first pain point that I saw that, wow,
Right.
there's a big opportunity to connect with these OFWs and offer them franchises. And why franchises? Because it's businesses that are replicable and that they are familiar with. But then the other part, the other pain point which came up for me was that as I was speaking to all these OFWs over there, the next question they asked the water distributor was this one. They asked them, who will run my business while I am still here in Dubai with a contract, right? Who's going to run my business back in Manila or back in the province?
Right.
And then when they asked when that question was posed to the water distributor couldn't really answer beyond saying maybe you can give it to a trusted friend or a relative. But as we all know, diba, that story often ends in tragedy because sometimes the relative doesn't use the money
Right.
properly it's rerouted to buy, I don't know, motorcycle, to beauty products, to whatever else. It's not put back into
Yeah.
the business. And
Correct.
then naman, if it's a friend, if they don't run the business well, what do? Diba? You destroy the friendship. So
Right.
we saw two opportunities to make it easier for OFWs to invest in franchises in the Philippines, and number two, that if they invest in the Philippines, these OFWs, that there is a possibility that somebody else can professionally manage those franchises on their behalf, just like they're operating it for them. So when they come back home,
Right.
they have the choice to run it themselves, or they can continue to let a professional manager run the franchise for
Right.
them. Am I correct, Bubbles? Tama ba ako?
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
And that's what the core of Easy Franchises is, our franchise management service. So we basically professionalize managing or operating the franchise for them. So it now for anyone who wants to, like, for example, continue their day job, let's say not just OFWs, and want to have like another source of income, like a passive income, and have it professionally managed or operated. That's where we come in kasi. And other than that, artists, you gotta take this time na din to or take this opportunity to inform them. We actually have like a new product coming in wherein we call it investment starter, wherein
Mhm.
we made it even easier for everyone to invest in a franchise through investment starter solution. Basically, we tap into franchise management, but making it price friendly, price friendly, and for our investors, lower SKU kumbaga, and that is still franchising. They can still pursue something that fits their passion or their interests in any business, and at the same time it is still tangible. Because a lot of people now invest, the investors now, RJ, become younger when it comes to franchising.
Mhm.
So before, the market for investors would be around 35 to 55, but now there are more aggressive younger generation, surprisingly, even in the Gen Z, who want to venture
Wow.
into business or in franchising. So we want to tap into that market through our investment starter solution. So they'll know more about that also on Franchise Day. So that's very exciting for us because it's something that is game changing in the industry, and something that is a first, again, that Easy Franchise started. So we're very excited. I don't want to preempt, but basically it's an investment starter that jump starts anyone's entrepreneurial journey. So it kickstarts their investment or appetite or their journey to starting a business on their own. So that's something that is very exciting for us. and something that will make them experience or basically experience investing in a new perspective or a new way.
When you talk about this, is very interesting. So again, you just visit the franchise day to learn more about that one. They're going to be launching that product over there, that investor starter kit.
Right.
Again, the website is
Correct.
www.easyfranchise.com. Bubbles, aside from your
Right.
investor startup kit, what are the other things that you? I mean, tell us a bit more about what pain points have you eliminated from the franchisee perspective, from the application process to all the way up to, let's say, the management process, so people get a better idea. I mean,
Let,
if that wasn't
right.
there, why would it be harder?
Right. So basically, a lot of people. So one of the questions that we get asked is, what makes it different from us going straight to the brands? Technically
Mhm, mhm.
nothing. You can also go straight to the brands naman, but we just make it easier for you. We don't charge you anything extra. We don't charge you for helping you apply for a brand. Basically think of us as like your account manager, di ba? So for example, with like any other marketplace, wherein it aggregates all the potential franchise. We aggregate all the brands that you can choose from, and then our goal or our advocacy, our main why is to help you start your entrepreneurial journey through our franchise management service. But if you're not, if you want to do it on your own naman, if you want to manage the business on your own, we still help you either way in applying for a franchise. And what makes our solution end to end is from our digitized application process down to setting up your franchise as an optional service, of course, and down to managing your business on the day-to-day operations. And that's what makes it end to end. So again, depending on your need, again, we're very customer centric. It's up to you to decide whether you want to avail of this end-to-end solution or just, of course, take advantage of the free digitized application process and an easy way of investing. Basically streamlining the process of uh, matching with the right franchise brand for you.
That's right. But then how about now? Let's look at the franchisor pain points that you've solved. Especially there's two. There's two franchisor pain points that you're trying to solve. Number one
Right.
is the franchisor pain point of, let's say, I'm not a franchisor yet. How do I become a franchisor? And can you help me? How exactly do you go about that one? Why go to you versus other groups that can do it? And number two is, if I am already an established franchise, how will you help me grow my business? Exactly. I mean, I can do it on my own, or I can work with somebody else. So let's start off with the first one. If I am a potential franchisor, how exactly can you help me
Okay.
franchise develop?
So for to help your franchise develop, of course, again, sometimes it can be intimidating to go through the tedious process of developing franchising on your own, right? And it takes time and it takes effort. For you, you will have to build for a potential franchisor. You will have to build a separate department, a franchise department or a franchise team to establish that for you. And for us, you don't have to. All you have to do is work with us. We'll work with you on developing your franchise model. We'll even market your brand. Again, the end-to-end solution for that is we'll help you develop and create the market for you as well. So with the new model that we created, basically what allows us to cater to different potential franchisees is that we allow them to be our franchisor. So what does co-ownership mean? So for example, for a potential franchisee that can own a franchise at, let's just say, a 4 million for a popular milk tea, right?
Mm-hmm.
With a turnkey of 4 to 5 million. So what we do kasi is for our potential franchisees, instead of owning one business, you can actually co or own five businesses. Co-own five
Wow.
businesses. So for you, yung dating market kasi is the old market is the traditional one is okay, I'll own a popular brand and have one business. So what we enable what we unlock right now when it comes to our target market is okay, you can still have that investment. You can still invest that amount, but you can actually own several franchises. That way, you have more chances talaga of of basically success. Kasi nga, you're betting on more franchises than one. And it already comes with our professional management service. So yun yung advantage nun. So for you as a franchisee, there's not much change. You were planning to invest in a 4 million business anyway. This one is still 4 million, but you are co-owning like 4 to 5 brands. So as a franchisor, of course, since we've unlocked that, syempre for you, it's going to be much faster to expand your brand, right? So it's going to be much faster to get your brands out there. And there's no like lock in. We don't have exclusivities with our brands. The customers can still go directly to you as long as of course the customers didn't go through us directly. So yun. So again, what we're trying to build is an ecosystem of the stakeholders to make it easier and more convenient for everyone to start their entrepreneurial journey, be it a franchisor or a franchisee.
Got that. Now, Easy Franchise, we've been around for about, I think it's almost 3 years, Bubbles? Is that 3 or 4 years now? Or going on the fifth year? I'm not so sure. Refresh my memory.
No,
How old are we
it's
already?
almost 5 na, RJ.
Almost
Like,
5 years.
we're turning, yes, almost 5 years. That's correct.
And the interesting thing is
We
that
started
it's
in November. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. You're cutting off.
no, I was saying that when we started off, there's been a lot of course correction on the way because we've operated this business with a sort of startup mentality, which is your own background. When you joined, you're a veteran startup start. I mean, Bubbles looks very young, but she's a veteran in the startup
Still
industry.
young.
Still young, but veteran in the industry. And the nice thing about this one
Okay.
is that we've had to iterate and course correct from the start. Bubbles, people also listen to the program because they're here to learn about. They're here to learn about best practices or what we picked
Right.
up along the way. Because from the iteration of the idea which I gave, right? That was like my strength is coming up with that entrepreneurial idea, right? Of what we said, how do we solve the problem, and then what you're great at is coming up with sort of like what is the strategic execution that's going to help monetize the project. So can you help people understand also, the process of how you got to where the business model is
Pivot.
right now of Easy Franchise and where we
Right.
initially started? What did you learn when you
Yeah.
moved there? Because that's what all startups have to learn, that sort of pivot or that start of course
Right.
correction when they do business.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, yeah. Definitely funny story because in the brink of the pandemic, early 2020, we were actually trying to pivot even before the pandemic back then. Because initially we were offering subscriptions or advertising as our main product or service. We were offering advertising for our franchisors to be listed on our platform. But
Mm-hmm.
during that time, we were in the brink of launching a new system that features basically or caters to B to C. So basically, we cater to our franchisors to be able to sell through our platform. So, but adoption was a failure for us back then because one of the things that we were depending that time and to implementing that new system was our offline events. If you noticed, back in 2019, there were two events that we've had in Dubai and Singapore, which was a huge success for us. That was pivotal for us. However, we were banking on that for the continuity of that in 2021. Oh, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
2020. We had
2020.
plans to go to, yeah, we had plans to go to 10 countries nga that time. But then the pandemic happened, right? And of course, but surprisingly, with the change of the user behavior now, people have adapted more online. So we were able to pivot that offline event to an online event through our webinars. And that was game changing for us. Because of course, for for an offline event that we have to go abroad and all go to di ba? It was costly for us.
Very
And
costly also.
pivoting that,
Very
kumbaga
costly.
harnessing and correct. So harnessing that and taking that as an opportunity, yung turned out into an opportunity for us to do everything digitized because of that experience. So what I would say, if anything, advice, you're talking about advice, RJ, to potential, di ba, or anyone who would want to
Exactly. Yes.
pivot
Yes.
or anything, is that don't be don't be intimidated, I guess, for uncharted territories. So if something there's a big change, always see it in a different lens na parang there's an opportunity there all the time. So siguro if that time we were, 'di ba, we were already, oh no, we had no events. What are we gonna do? Let's stop na
Oh
because
yeah. I just want
it's
to
not
say
gonna work
during
out.
that time, that was me and Bubbles really cracking our hair. That was me and Bubbles. What
Right,
are we gonna
right.
do? What are we gonna do? But out of
Exactly.
desperation comes innovation, right?
Yes, out of desperation comes innovation. So we weren't intimidated by that. We didn't even hesitate. So because okay, baka people will not adapt to the new normal or the new way of franchising. But surprisingly, it went well for us. And all we had to do was to act fast. I guess that's one key thing. We acted fast. I remember back then, RJ, when it was announced that there will be work from home
Mhm.
from, I could still remember the date, from March 13 to March 15. The government has, the administration announced that everyone is mandated to work from home. As soon as that was announced at 12 noon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., we ask everyone to work, to stay, so that we can have our business continuity planning for that, for our webinars, online webinars, to pivot everything online. So that was like a decision that we had to make abruptly talaga to for that ano. And that's the advantage kasi of working in an environment na startup. I guess with my experience with working with startup industry, in the startup industry, something that is, we act fast talaga to be able to iterate and to put something out there. And if it's successful, if it's good, then we continue doing so, and we continue to iterate or to ano lang, to tweak it for our offers. But if it's successful, then good thing for us kasi nga we're able to act fast.
You know, the funny thing is, if I
Ayun.
look back right now,
So I'm
two
happy. I'm
years
happy we're
ago,
able to do that.
I'm very happy to. I just realized that 2.5 years of the pandemic, one of the last times that I actually went out of the house to go to work was for Easy Franchise, and we were actually having a pictorial, and we were meeting. We were
Right.
having a video discussion. We were
Exactly.
discussing the it was already in the air when they would talk about, that there would be a lockdown, and we were very careful of going around people touching stuff. I mean, I remember that time, and that's what's important at the time, that the startup mentality, or for me the entrepreneurial mentality, which is seeing every crisis as a potential. I mean, the hard part is when you look at the crisis, syempre it's scary, but after some time you just have to kind of put the fear aside and just think of the opportunity that arises, because the fear will paralyze you. So you kind of just have to, as much as
Right.
possible, kind of compartmentalize it, put it in the box, think of the solution first,
Correct.
then go there, di
Correct.
ba?
Don't get me wrong, RJ. I still believe in planning and foresight and all those things before jumping into things, ha. But as kasi as the saying goes, 'di ba? Planning to fail, and kumbaga, failing to plan is planning to fail. But there are times kasi that you just have to jump into it, eh. And it's
Yeah.
always when something feels like it feels right, sige, let's do this. That's the best time to really just do it talaga and to act fast on that. So yeah, I remember that time everybody was like, wait, let's wait it out. Maybe this isn't
I remember
something
that.
that
I
will,
remember that.
diba?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, maybe
But
something that is going to last long. Maybe it's just like SARS, but no, so let's have a business continuity plan. Let's do it. Let's continue having these webinars. And we were the first ones to do it in the industry before anyone else
and
started doing it.
I recall one of our early webinars which we were doing online. No, one of our guests was Bong Fadulyon of
Yeah.
Phoenix Petroleum, who also guested on the show.
Phoenix. Yes, Sir
Of
Bong.
Phoenix, and there was something which really that what he said that really resounded with me, no, on our Easy Franchise show. He said, you have to look at this pandemic like it's the Olympics, like you're retraining yourself, di ba? You're training your body. Hindi pwede nasa bahay ka lang the whole time na mag-Netflix and chill ka na lang to wait until everything opens up again. Hindi.
Right.
You take that time to make a lot of small
Right.
failures on the way. So when you open up, fully conditioned ka, and that's
Correct.
exactly what happened to us in Easy Franchise. We were having
Right.
our mini failures and mini successes, which led to the business model which we have right now. Do you agree with me there?
Correct, exactly.
Wow.
Definitely, RJ. We were able to during that phase we were able to experiment, which worked for us nga kasi during that time. There were some flexibilities then on our end, di ba?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, before I wrap up the show, no, because I didn't realize how much time we had consumed, but it's such an engaging program. It's so engaging. We've got a great question that just came up from Eric Ronald Pagdanganan. Can we flash that over here? Which is a great question, especially for people who want to get into franchising bubbles. I guess if you can address this one, if I may ask, when should a food business or concept start to offer franchising? Bubbles, I know this is right down your alley. Tell them when should and not
Right,
just food, but
right.
other businesses. When do you think that they should start
Like in
exploring franchising?
general.
Mm-mm.
So first of all, to be very transparent, of course, to explore franchising pa lang doesn't mean that your business is already franchisable. So to explore franchising, first is if you have a stable supply chain. So for example, again, like we mentioned earlier, um, can you offer something that can that that can be uniquely available to you? Kasi for example, anyone could, for example, like let's just say top of mind a milk tea business, and there's a lot of those, lot of brands popping up, tapos mawawala. It's because they haven't figured out the supply chain side of that. Kasi nga, they only buy stuff on the off the rack. So, syempre, that's a volatile, di ba? That's not something that you can control. So, at the same time, if you have franchisees at ipapasa mo yung cost na yun that they just get, eventually, they'll just do it on their own. They'll rebrand. Kasi there's nothing that you can offer to them that is uniquely available to you. So, you have to figure that out. What is that product that you can sell to that is uniquely available for you? So, when it comes to, for example, food, syempre you have to really come up with a good product that you can supply to your franchisee. When it comes to service, what is the secret sauce in your service that only you can provide, whether training, whether a certain product, yun ganon. So, for example, like kanina, question is, uh, since a car wash, di ba?
Jason.
The
Oh, si Jason.
detergent,
Oh.
Jason, when it comes to, for example, sa spa massage, maybe the oils that you could use or the trainings. Kasi when it comes to service, most of the time it's the manpower eh. Like example, sa barbershop, can you figure out how to provide barbers to your franchisees? Mga ganon. So yun yung supply mo. Ano ba yung supply mo for your franchisees? Secondly, of course, you have to look at your P&Ls. Sometimes franchising kasi is super romanticized. I'll be
Oh,
very
sige.
me,
P&L
RJ,
lang
I'm
for
very
the Bubbles,
straightforward.
just for the sake
It's
of
super
people here. No?
romanticized that, okay, so
P&L means
everything is
profit and
going
loss statement,
great,
huh?
this business is the best.
Oo.
Yes, profit and loss statement. So of course your business has to look profitable. It really has to be profitable to be able to um venture into franchising. So understandable yan at the start when you're experimenting for your own brand. Medyo ano yan, 'di ba? Nilalaro mo pa yan. So until you figure that out and you found a way to make your business profitable. So make it work for yourself muna before you venture into franchising. You have to be responsible also before offering your business to others. You have to make it on your own. So yun. And then lastly, of course, I would say is if you are getting interests in franchising na, that's also one of the signs that, okay, there's this clamor for your brand or for your product, right? So, or is your business franchisable? I want to franchise your business. I'm interested. Then you work on your one and two, right? Work on your supply, work on your P&L na. So, yun yung three things I would say that you have to look into before even considering franchising. So, yun.
Really, really great advice, Bubbles.
I hope I was
I was
able
going
to
to ask,
answer Jason's
you
question.
did sufficiently. I was going to ask you, give more three tips on life and business, but basically you covered everything as you discussed how we kind of pivoted Easy Franchise and also how what type how
Yeah.
to know when you start your own franchising. So as we start to wrap up tonight's program, can you? Oh, thanks so much, Eric Ronald
And
Pagdana,
not
saying
all
great,
RJ, and
appreciate
not
it. Yeah,
sorry. Okay.
go ahead, Bubbles. You were saying.
Sorry. And not all, sorry, share ko lang din, not all franchise consultants when they try to develop you would be straightforward enough and tell you na okay, you're not franchisable yet, work it out. So it's really finding the right also partner for them when it comes to developing their franchise. Kasi if you do it too soon naman, sayang din. You can develop your brand further pa that can be that is sustainable, more sustainable, right?
Yeah. And again, sustainability for me is again,
Ayun.
it comes down to your secret sauce. I mean, Bubbles supply is good and secret sauce is good as well. Both of those things. Secret sauce meaning what can your business do more competitively than others
Right.
with regard to product or service, something unique that only you can deliver. I often tell people it just might be access to a specific ingredient or product which not everybody has access to. I mean, that's pretty good as well, diba? Or your
Correct.
high skill set. High skill set is also very important when it comes to that industry. Bubbles, as we close off here right now, please again invite
Right.
people to Franchise Day. Number one, let's invite the franchisors who might want to participate, and number two, the potential new
Of course,
franchise
of course.
entrepreneurs who want to join. Please go ahead.
Yes. So we'd like to invite, of course, we're still very open to have brands be onboarded on Easy Franchise platform. If you'd like to expand your brand, to expand your franchise, please go to www.easyfranchise.com, and basically we will help you expand your franchise globally. When it comes to franchising, and anyone who wants to invest in a franchising, we'll be happy to match you with the right franchise brand for you. And on Franchise Day, it will be the biggest online franchise sale available for anyone who wants to invest in the franchise. Look at this as parang the 11-11 or the 8-8, I guess, of the franchise in the franchising. So, yun, exciting yun for all those who want to invest in a franchise.
And that's going to be on August 28th. All you have to do is just go to the
Yeah,
easyfranchise.com
sorry.
website or the Easy Franchise Facebook page to find out more details. Again, special rates that you can only find here on Easy Franchise. Again, Bubbles, thanks so much for guesting here on the program. I really appreciate all the insights, especially all the guests. Guys, if you were listening to Bubbles, let's say give her a big thank you. It was really great for people who want to become franchise entrepreneurs or franchisors who want to grow their businesses. Again, this is RJ Ledesma. We will see you in the next episode of the podcast. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, RJ.
Thanks.